advantage. You shouldn't only know your customer. You shouldn't begin by knowing your customer. You should begin by knowing your products and know your industry. There are times when knowing your industry is the lifesaver for your customer engagement and experience. Knowing your industry, let's come to real estate and a few things that I've found last year in research. So I found that real estate offers, particularly property development, offers generic product when it comes to land. We are using this as our case study. What are the things that are generic? Number one is that dry land. Possible everybody's own is dry land. So it's generic. The location is what it is. Whatever development or under development is happening in that vicinity is general to everybody. True or true? So that's generic. So you can't say that, oh, our own portion has more development than theirs. Nobody will hear that kind of story and think that you're saying anything meaningful. So I'm trying to say that in knowing, serving, helping, supporting, assisting your customers, there is a need to understand your industry. And I found out that that is so important for the real estate business. There's a story around the real estate business. It dates back to before you and I were born. It's a story of a lack of trust. It's a story of being defrauded or killed over a piece of land. It's the story that the Nollywood industry has amplified over the years. Maybe they are doing better now. I have not come across a lot of those again. So many of the scripts writers write, and you see that someone killed their brother because of the land. And so land or anything property has always been contentious. It's a narrative. You cannot afford not to understand it. They look so light and social ideas, but because they are social, they influence people. They run people's mind, they form the ideas, they form the way they come to you. So real estate is generic. So you cannot trademark your land. You cannot trademark your location. It's everybody's thing. But you can trademark your service. You can trademark the quality of your service. You can be so far gone into pleasing, satisfying, delighting your clients that others have to run really hard to catch up with you. So that's why it's important to be intentional about making service a culture. My job today is to begin from the basics. How do we make it a culture that we all own? How do we make it a culture that we all submit to? How do we ensure that customer service, which serves by creating experience, is not just one person's business but everybody's business? So I often say that quote, that customer service is not just somebody's business, it is everybody's business. That means it's a culture, the way of life for us. We understand that whether I'm accounts, my accounting must create experience for the client, maybe in terms of speed of delivery, of evidence of payment, and everything that has to do with it. If I am the proper client support or client experience or client satisfaction person, what or client success, there are several names it could be called. What's yours in particular? Client support. Good. So all of those names just gives an idea of what that person is there to do for you. Like the picture of what you should expect when you meet her is that she supports you in every and several ways that she can. So client support, admin, site manager, if we have something like that, whatever other departments, including CEO, MD, director, when everyone understands that we've all chosen and agreed to own a culture of customer service. Do you know what culture is? Culture is very, very strong. Culture is like a cult sometimes. It's like what you own together, who you are together, what we represent. what we cannot not be on any day. We can't afford not to be here. So today we are saying that how do we make customer service culture our competitive advantage as a real estate company in the midst of what looks like a general market. So that's why I started by helping you see that you're not selling anything that is different from what others are selling. Your land does not have game. Your land does not have wrapper. Your land didn't come with anything other than what others will give you. It means that when you are in a market where everything is generic, your mind must be working something different. And one major thing you can do to continue to scale as if you have done juju, the way some people will say, is to understand how to enter the client and to hold them in. So that's where we are at. But my word this morning is critically, intentionally making it true, operationalizing it, making it something that all of us don't only know, but are able to allude to. So I was thinking, who is really this customer? It's possible that we've heard some words so often, we think we know what they mean. And then the moment they say, what is this? Then you wonder, oh, that word, where is it in my head? Have you ever put it? There have been times you thought you knew the meaning of a word. And when you are on the spot and you are asked to explain, you are shocked that it didn't come out immediately. You still have to assemble everything before you speak. That kind of word can sometimes be the customer. But I will go into the next slide to help you see how just important. It will amaze you to know that you are in business just for this person. You're not in business for your okay. So there's a big conversation in the world of customer service and people and business running around stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders? And they're like shareholders are stakeholders mainly because they bring the money. And so we're like, no, shareholders are not the main stakeholders. Customers are the main stakeholders. Because if customers are not there, shareholders' money or shareholders' fund will suffer. It will hang. Even if it doesn't deplete, but it will deplete because there's an operational cost. It will be depleting. But then if customers are not bringing fresh funds, are not infusing fresh funds, throwing fresh funds to your business, then shareholders' fund will deplete. So at the end of the day, who owns the market? Who owns the business? Why are you in business? You're in business for the customer. You need to drive that in. One of the things I want to achieve today is do a reorientation. I know that you have bosses, team leads that would have been doing a great job at helping you see this. But maybe to hear it from an outside voice and in another way. And to help you see that whatever you have been told about the importance of caring to the needs, aspirations, and desires of your clients is very, very true and is as important as stress. Why do you leave your house every day? Why don't you decide to sleep and not come? The customer is the one who wakes most of us up. We don't realize it. I know that God wakes us up. I'm not trying to defame the fact. But I'm saying that one of the things that wakes you up every morning is because there's someone to serve. There's someone's solution to bring. There's someone's question to answer. There's someone's problem to resolve. You may not realize it until you have taken time to think about it. So you say, hey, but I'm not a client service person, so the customer is not the reason why I woke up. Or it is because the customer owns your business and you are a staff of that business. So you going to work is part of you coming to join forces to do the one responsibility that everybody has. If there's one job that we all have, irrespective of our disciplines, our professions, it's the job of serving the client and exciting him by creating experience. So who pays your bills? That one goes without saying. I won't stay long on that. Then who put you ahead of the competition? I did say that what everybody is selling in real estate is generic. Land is land. Product is land. Land is land. It's not different. But how then do I stay ahead of the pack? The only one person that gives you an opportunity to have a greater fortune is the customer. Let's move on. I didn't want to stay long on it. So, if the customer is king, then you are a servant, period. These are my thoughts. Somebody can say, no, I'm a princess from the village of Iroko, whatever. I am not a servant. It's because you don't understand that a servant is just somebody offers service. It's just a person who offers service. So if the customer is king, then you are a servant. But let me help you see how much of a king you should make the customer. Number one, I did tell you that he puts you ahead of the pack. I did tell you that is the one who puts you, keeps you in business. If I used to give one analogy of a rich man who decided to settle the wife with a big mall. So on this very new year, they went and established a very big mall in a very choice place in Lekki. The mall is supposed to sell just about anything anyone can have on it. So this woman didn't have to spend a dime of her money. The husband was investing in her and said, oh, I believe you can do well. And then so they opened this very big mall, security apparatus in check. They had uniformed waiters who served you. Everything you thought to see in a very, very luxury mall was available. Talk about the role of business products, they were there. So the woman got to the shop on the very first day when they were opening, and then she was hoping to have the first few persons come in. The first day, she sat down and waited. Nobody walked in. They excited themselves and said, oh, no, it must be because we just opened today. The second day, nobody walked in. She continued like that for 30 straight days, and nobody walked into the big mall to even say, hi, what have you got here? I usually will ask people that, what do you think our temperature will be feeling like by the 30th day? She's going to be calm, she'll just be fine and say, oh, no. Okay, so if you were the one, what would you be feeling like? Some people will say village people. They have come for me. I mean, that can't anybody say. So it shows you how important, after assembly, you can have a beautiful, your office can be as beautiful as this. If nobody is buying what you are selling, you are joking. So if people dare to trust you and to buy what you're selling, then you must understand that they are king. Let me tell you something. The next one will show you some of the reasons why sometimes we forget that they are king. Then I'll come and treat the seventh part that we always fight with. So who is the customer? Is one who buys from you, and then individual who purchases what you sell. I don't want to stay long on that. Let's to serving a client. Let me tell my story. When it comes to serving any client, I do not hold titles. I do not hold titles. I do not hold qualifications. I might tell you about qualifications and titles at the point where you need to hear them because you want to be sure about my pedigree. But when it comes to the point where it's time to serve, I roll up my sleeves. Whatever is required to be done to get a client from point A to B, I lead the team to do it. You need to understand that sometimes your clients or customers or prospects are confused. You can tell because they seem to be here and there or all over the place. But the fact that they are confused does not mean you should forget that they are going to pay. The money is in their pocket and you cannot use gun to remove it. So you must appeal to them to the point where they are persuaded to say, oh, we go with you, and they take the phone. Your customer can be ignorant. There are so many times you're marketing to someone and you can see that they know no jack, but they have the money. Haven't you heard many times someone says, I have this 6 million, 30 million, 100 million somewhere. What do you think I can do with it? You probably have met clients who you had to teach literally where to best put their money so that the money will not be lost and so that it will continue to generate income for them. Your customer customer could be difficult. I'm doing this brainwashing before I go to the main thing. So you know that everybody who is a client service person, true and true, understand that this can all be the journey that clients can find themselves on. It should never make you replace their space as the king, because once you remove them from the picture or from the cycle of business, it's not a business, it's probably an NGO, or it's not a profit making business, probably a non for profit. So your customer can be difficult, and I put difficult in inverted commas because you should never ever say it to a client that they are difficult. You should never ever carry it as a register, a language register that you're willing to use at every moment. This is how I use the word difficult if it will ever happen. I say the person is not easily pleased. It's not easy to please. So you can have some clients that are not easy to please. So in your head, the word in your head is difficult. But please don't slam it on a client, never. Don't make a client see either by gesture or by words that they are ignorant. Don't make a client see either by gesture or by words that they are confused. Truth is, that's the reality. So I'm trying to open up to you to see that truly clients can be in these states. But no, it's not your place. One of the things I tell people who serve clients is it's not your role to train your clients on how to talk. So I hear some client-facing people say something like, I wish he had said it a better way. I would have been okay. But see the way this person spoke, see the way this person looked. You are not their tutor. You are serving. Basic as basic can be. Serving. And all the other synonyms of serving, which include assisting, which includes supporting, which includes creating solutions, which includes helping. So your customer can be stubborn, like literally. You know that this guy doesn't listen. Your customer can be deceptive. There are deceptive customers who want to play a smart one on you. If you have never come across it, I'm happy for you. But I have come across a few customers who are deceptive, who want to take undue advantage of you, who think that your niceties should be taken for granted, who think that they can circumvent your rules, go away with the goodies, and if possible, not pay. Who think that you should come down too badly for them, and before you know it, you don't have a business anymore. Some customers can be loyal, but the fact that they are loyal to you does not mean you should take them for granted. So the problem of some businesses is that they are so fortunate. They probably are not even doing anything really techy or technical, and they are lucky to have loyal people around them over time. And then you begin to play the big boys game, feeling like we made you. The other way around is that they made you. Some customers are impulsive. They up from here to there. You had a deal probably with them, and you thought you had a journey you were going along. But because they are impulsive, before you know, they have jumped on another. I'm like, but I thought some customers can be impulsive, and others can be wondering, like, that's a relation to being confused. In all of this, you are never to take your customers' low or high moments for granted. You are never to take undue advantage of it. You are rather supposed to understand, as far as the customer is concerned, he is king and you're here to serve. Your glory, your honor, your beauty, your existence, your sustainability is in how well you can serve him. From me saying great customer service succeeds on 75% attitude and 25% aptitude. Aptitude in this sense would be every other support tech, gadget, software, application, whatever other things you're using to support it. While attitude is the human wear. The human wear is the strongest, most resilient greatest asset when it comes to client satisfaction, when it comes to customer delight. Before we came in here, we were discussing a few things, and ideas, they come from the head of the human being, right? Execution, a lot of them will require people because you are serving people. I understand the parts where you are using tech to support. Tech is always supportive, but the human is empowered to drive change and drive the process. If the person has a poor attitude, you are at risk of a 75% failure. If the person has a great attitude, you are at the advantage of 75% success rate. Okay, so let's see a few figures that help us understand this. We're looking at customer service. I'm trying to help us understand the importance of this and how that you must never play down on it. When my job is done with this, then we can go into make it a culture, and let's all own it and begin to run with it. Let's make 2025 that year where we can say we are indeed becoming a customer-centric brand. It doesn't happen by accident. It's a plan. You orchestrate it, and it requires plenty of commitment and consistency. You don't do it well just for a while and then you stop. So there are a few things we have done over the years in RCD. I'll share some of them if they do come by my thoughts as we are speaking. There are things that probably if you have not been doing, I've been with Mr. Itepo. I'm not so used to the Itepo part. I'm trying. Okay, so I've been with him. I asked myself, why did he take from me? Anyway, let me not distract myself. Okay, but I understand. I understand. Every other person that I know is Itepo. So maybe they are telling that guy what did happen. All right. So I'm sorry for distracting. So did you know that 93%? Can we read this together, please? Let's go. One. Customers are more likely to make repeat purchases at companies with excellent customer service. Hmm. Does excellent look like something you pick on the highway? Like you're just going and you just find it? No, excellence is always intended and orchestrated. It does not happen by mistake. Okay, let's go. 93 is huge, isn't it? So what's left? Okay. Second, want to go? Almost 93% of customers will return to your company if their previous experience was positive. 93%. For all my about 10 years of training customer service, I'm alarmed at the figures. The statistics are always crazy. They've never changed from being this huge for 10 years. They've never changed. If anything, they're changing upwards, emphasizing the power of serving the client delightsomely, doing the basics. It's so important stressing that if you can get all the basics in, you'll be doing so well that by the time you now add the exceptionals, nobody can. You don't have a match in any market. Your match is the one who can follow you, bumper to fender, like as you are doing this new thing, they are doing it. But because you are a customer service oriented business, you are never out of ideas. So that's why I teach people about having a customer service one bank. It's not something that should come to you when it comes. There should be a bank. Intentional businesses keep a bank of wow ideas. They create a team that thinks for the team and that harvests ideas for the team. A customer service think tank. Their job is to ensure that ideas are being ready. They don't all have to be ideas that you are ready to prosecute. No. They could even be ideas that the budget that you have cannot take yet. But you can look for the smaller version of it and begin with it. Every intentional customer service business has a customer service budget at the beginning of every year. It's not an assumption. You don't assume it. You don't assume it. So as you are building the bank, you are maintaining a budget year on year to execute. So let's read number 3 together. Want to go? Okay, like people like want to go. Let's go. Now, these things are not stories. If you want to understand customer service, just look at you and ask yourself, how would I rather be served? What would I love? When I walk into a mall, I mean, it's Richard Branson that taught me to know that if you're bringing in a new idea for the client, first test it on yourself and your team. That you are likely not to go wrong if it fits in well with your test population, it most likely will strike a chord with your client. So 90% is another huge number, saying that when they are engaged, engagement is the sort of thing we were discussing before we came in here. That point where they have become family. That point where they have become family. So 86% of customers say that an emotional connection with a customer service agent would make them continue to do business with the company. Emotional. It drives, we all know that our emotions drive decisions. As logical as men are, a woman's presence in their life with her emotional strength will drive an emotional decision any day. Same for children. Same for children. So when a child loved by the parents insists that we are going to get this, and it's not something that will harm the child, give it time. That thing will arrive. Even if the budget is not great at the moment, the parents will plan and eventually deliver it. So emotions truly run. And emotions, every time you think about emotions, think about memories. Think about you getting home in the evening of today, and maybe you've been to a number of places during the day. Or perhaps let's talk about the holidays. We just came back from the holidays. The Yuletide ended on the 7th, January. Good. So, but we all are fully back to work. But you just sit down on one of those evenings and you're on the tip of your bed and your mind just travels. You know that moment when your mind just travels and you remembered you entering the mall, maybe with a friend, and you saw how the attendants were all over the place saying, "You're welcome, we're pleased to have you." And then there's a way you are smiling all to yourself. At those moments, reliving memories. Businesses must be intentional about creating memories. That's the whole thing that experience is. It deposits it. It's like their emotional bank account is growing with you. You are creating connection. We get connected to people who we feel some pull towards, whether it is family or the other way around. Let's read point 5 together. They actually want it. They actually want it. So if you are doing needs assessment of customers, they actually would want an active relationship. Then the last one, that's millennial. Now talk about Gen Zs. Millennials are even a little more, they are still like to a large extent. They don't have that movement vibe a lot, not as much as Gen Zs. So if you now serve a generation where Gen Zs are now making money and they can afford what you're selling, question, how much of switches do you want them to do on you before you understand that the customer is king that should be served as such? I have a few more statistics. I just want our heads to be flooded with the fact that we are toying with something that is really, really important. This one says 65% of customers aged between 18 and 34 feel social media platforms are an effective channel for customer service. This goes without saying. 65% of a company's business comes from existing satisfied customer. Existing. 65%. 65%. 65%. This talks about referrals, repeat patronages. This talks about all of those things. So, question, How many of the people who have bought from you once have bought again and again? How many of them have bought 3 times? How many of them will close their eyes and refer others to you without minding that anything will go wrong? 65% of return patronage is huge, and it's less stress, it's less cost on advertising. So it's cost saving, and then it's money spinning in terms of turnover. We're trying to still understand this enigma called the customer and the fortune it brings to our business, how it makes our efforts make sense. Okay, so the next one, let's read this together. Number 3. Want to go? 1%. Sorry, it isn't everybody that is. Can we take it again? 61% of customers think surprise gifts and offers are the most important ways a brand can interact with them. How true is this? How of us got freebie from any brand that we patronizing through last year? Who got a freebie from any brand you did business with last year? Personally, you did. You did. Woman brand. Oh, they gave you. You see? So, and one of the things I've told people is if gifts, if surprise gifts and offers and all of that is one of the items you have on your game plan, don't wait till festive periods. It's clustered at that point. It doesn't have the time it needs to express itself and sink in. Probably more other people are doing things around that time. You're competing with others. Come at moments when other businesses like you are still sleeping. Look for an anniversary. Look for moments. Look for times that are personal and connecting and resonating. Don't wait till Easter. You're competing with others in their head. Don't forget, it's memories you want to create, it's experience you want to create. Your own catch is experience. I want them to remember. I want them to feel good. You want to create the feel good enzymes and make them active all of the time for your clients. You want them never to think of going to another place because they can't imagine any other person doing them the way you are. So when you go at the time when every other person is bringing theirs, you are slimming your chances of having the space you require in their minds and in their heads. It's a game. It's a game. You must become better at playing this game the older the brand becomes. The next one, number 4. Let's take it together. Building with more costly than cultivating the loyalty in an existing customer. Do we get what this is? The cost saving part of it. 16 times costlier. We've been hearing about 10x, 10x, 10x. 10x is even to double to bring what you are selling or who you are to 10 times 10. There is follow up, there's follow through that must happen to every feedback. You get to a point where, so let me not go ahead of some of the pages that I have ahead of me. So 57% is also huge. It's above average. It should not even be near average at all. If you are losing anything, this is too huge for the life or health of a business. 48% of customers want brands to begin winning their loyalty from the first purchase. So you don't wait for a second contact to make a first great impression. You make your first great impression the very first time. What's the template here? When people walk in, how do we greet people? I don't know whether we have a lot of walking clients, but even if you don't, what's the temperature? What's the atmosphere of our calls? What do we sound like? Do we sound happy and excited to have someone call in? Do we sound just normal? Just normal. Hello, good morning. Blah, 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 blah. It's different from, oh, hello, good morning. So nice to have you. How do I serve you today? Depending on whatever you say. The pitch tells you who is over there and how excited that person is to have it. First port of call. And a lot of us do businesses that make us first port of call agents. You may not realize it. If you are on site, you are first port of call for some people because the first place they saw you was site. Maybe they went to another site and now noticed that you guys are decided to sometime to that person. Oh, okay, you guys are also here. What would that experience be like? How would it translate into other experiences we will have? Do we carry on the great act? So if I meet front desk, if I meet accounts, if I meet anybody, are we also well engineered in our understanding of us as client people that no matter what point the person comes in first, they are safe to sail from one point of exciting experience to the other? Are we so ready? Or sometimes we slip off and then apologize and say, oh, it's not in our character to do that. What went wrong the first time? Because when you miss a first impression, it's difficult. Unhappy customers will tell up to 15 people. When I first started doing research on customer service in 2015, it used to be 7 people. So it's growing. They would say that a happy client will tell up to 5 other people that, oh, I love that brand. Have you? And we do it a lot. We talk about, someone says, oh, I need it. Oh, I know these guys. Oh, I know those girls. But an unhappy client, as at 2015, will tell 7 other people. Today, he's telling 15 people about his poor experience. And coming from my roots as a reporter, it is said in journalism that bad news sells faster than good news. So in the journalism school, they give you an analogy and say that when dog bites a man, it is no news. Even though it's not anything anybody prays for a dog to bite a man. But they say that when dog bites a man, it's no news. But when a man bites a dog, who has seen a man biting a dog? I didn't say eating dog. When a man bites a dog, have you seen a man biting dog before? Who has seen it? So when a man bites a dog, it is big news. But when dog bites a man, it is regular. What should dogs do? There are a few toxins that we need to clear off. Are you sure they saw that before you moved it? There are a few toxins that bedevil great customer service for Nigerian businesses. See, this is bringing ourselves under the searchlight. There is power in environment. There's power in who you listen to, who you relate with, what family you were born, how you've grown, where you were, how people have treated you, and how you are bringing the way you've been treated back to people. I was saying to someone yesterday that as far as customer service, okay, it was the team I was talking to. That if I tried to do a survey on the entire stretch of Akomojo Road, and I'm trying to establish how much poor customer service attitudes is in businesses in Nigeria. And I try to use Akomojo, the entire Akomojo, which is growing very well to become a business district. And I begin by putting the right prompts in. I go to the first end of the place and I decide to board a bus and I refuse. I start coming with 1,000 naira. And I knew because it's a test case, I'm on a research and I'm doing a survey. And I decide to enter the bus. I know that the fare is 200 naira. 200 is even a lot. 100 naira. And I decide to come in with 1,000 naira. I know that I'm likely to get abused by the conductor. Is that true? Because he's going to say that, why did you come in with your change? Blah, blah, blah. And I type, okay, so I'm done with that. I capture that in a video without the person knowing. So it's candid camera. You can't tell what I'm doing. And I'm done with that. I enter the shop of a Yoruba woman who is selling wares, looks like well-to-do. And I decide to dress like I am a nobody. And I step into a shop and try to price the high capital wares she's selling. And I watch to see whether she will attend to me like she thinks I may buy. And most likely would have her rubbish me for my appearance. I need us to understand that these things will happen if you are not deliberate about flushing them out. You have been there. You've been treated like that. That's been your experience. That's probably how you grew up. That's probably how your environment has been. So you will bring it into your own serving of customers once in a while, no matter what, except you've trained yourself to know that no, this is not the way to travel. So let's see a few of them. I'm sorry they all have. So when filling a role for customer service, it's smarter to hire attitude and train for aptitude. Higher attitude. Look for those who have it in them, at least to an extent. Then go and train them for aptitude. Even if they are not great at aptitude, you can always train for aptitude. But attitude, you can train for it as well, but it's a long thing. It's a long thing. Let's go to the next. So here are a few things. Number one, toxins. Toxins. Number one, lack of a vision or goal or a game plan. Most businesses, don't forget, we're looking at something that the devil businesses in Nigeria. Most businesses don't have a goal, a vision, or a game plan for customer service. A goal, a game plan, or a vision for customer service. Number two, they have a wrong, uninspiring mindset about service, which includes service is servitude. Every client is premium. Some people's premium is about the volume, some is about the struggle that came with the quantity of the amount they paid you. If we're able to do this, that will be us doing business in the way Nigerians don't do business. I'm telling you, the average Nigerian business measures you based on how you live, the car you drove in. Silly as this can get, security men are very, very, very at fault. There's a special way they salute you and greet you when you're driving a heavy machine into the premises. And then when you're driving your 2K to enter, it's different. And worst case, when you're now trekking to enter, how far? Who be you? Who be you? Do you even know what we are selling here? It's toxic. It shows illiteracy about the client, the customer. When I see people do that, they are so illiterate to me, smells. So it's important to understand that the person who holds your business together cannot be treated in a bad way. You can't do that. So I stayed so long on that because it's an auto resetter. It resets you on auto. Once there's an issue, before you say anything, put yourself. Punch it like a button. Put yourself in the client's shoes. If you were the one, then you will understand why he's on the edge. Don't forget I told you that there's trust issues around the industry. It's still very much in force. It's been there for ages. So every company is buying their own shares of trust with hard work. It is not given on a platter to any business in real estate. If you're not conscious of, and that's why take a look at core values of most real estate companies, vision, and even name. The same way happened to the banks. Because in my research, I found out that real estate is gradually becoming an asset building, like the awareness is becoming big, that is an asset building sector. Just as you have financial services sector being banks and insurance, you could almost entirely mention real estate as the third. Because today, you can bring your money in, leave it for a while, and then collect the principal and get the interest. Every financial services sector business faces huge apathy. People there's trepidation because my hard-earned money is with you. What do you mean? What I use all my life to do. Maybe some people serve for 30 years and then got gratuity and brought it in and gave it to you. And you make light of that and commonize it. No, no. If you were watching the news, and you have bought a land, you are a customer, you bought a land at Gwagwalada, and you heard that federal government has entered that place. Their mopo are there, they have pulled down the entire space, there's a takeover. When you hear that there's a takeover, and you sat down there, you know that you have an acre in that same place. What will you be doing the next morning? Even if it was too late to call your agent or your salesperson, what will you be doing by the next morning? Someone should speak to me. You own an acre in Gwagwalada, and then you were watching 10 p.m. news in the night of yesterday. And they say that as we speak right now, the task force of the federal government on blah 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 have moved into Gwagwalada. They mentioned your entire area, and you are watching the news. What's the next thing you would do to the person who referred you to that land to buy? You will smile at them and say, "Oh, wait, not anything." Eh? Is that what you do? What will you do? What's the first thing you will do? To call. Some people, even if it's 12 midnight, they will call in case they are awake. Or send a chat and say, if he dare wakes up in the midnight, he must see my house first. Put yourself in that shoes. And the next one is don't trivialize the struggles. Don't make light of the struggles of your customer. I've explained that alongside putting yourself in their shoes. Don't trivialize it. Many of us are so interested. They are collecting money from those guys, taking part of it to pay us. And we still don't understand that this is my real boss. The people here are the operators of the business. So don't trivialize your client. Don't trivialize his sweat. Don't trivialize his struggle. The next one, stop believing that the customer has no choice. We are the best in this. Do you know there are Nigerian businesses where their team members carry this struggle mindset? They have no choice. Excuse me, the guys who thought people had no choice yesterday, go and ask the telco industry in Nigeria. Have we always had these guys? Who was on the saddle, the all powerful before? Who knows? Huh? It wasn't Glow. It was a Nitel. It was Nitel. They never born out. It was Nitel. And they could make themselves believe that there's nobody like us. There are so many businesses that have gone on the ground. They could have thrived in spite of competition if they didn't carry this struggle. I bet you the reason why many of them died decide more to do things than the fact that the business didn't need them. This was a case where people always needed what they had. And if they were innovative in service lines, they could have transited and still compete with the regulation. And the private operators are coming. It should have been shoulder to shoulder. But no, they have lived this life. I'm afraid there are so many people working in startup businesses who carry the mindset of civil servants. It cannot work. The people who are paying you to work in startups are working their hearts out to get into work. Many of them don't sleep. Even when they sleep in their dream, they are catching vision of the next thing. So the average person wakes up typing what has come to the head. It happens to me. That's how my life is. So it's either there's a jotter and Bible beside me, or no anybody that takes my phone from my side in the midnight has done me bad things. Yeah, because it means that the first few ideas that come to my head in the morning, I'm not able to quickly put them down. And when they go, it hurts. So you cannot run it as if it's federal government business. Even federal government is trying to tell these people to stand up to reason. What ideologies about apologies? That should be double S. I mean, that should be one S. Pardon me. Then recalls or doing a make good. So here in Nigeria, there are a number of companies who say once you buy it and you have left the counter, you can't come back. No make good, no returns. And so today, people offer other things online and it's delivered to them. And for most other places, you can still not say, oh, I didn't meet it in good. How many of us do get returns? Like, make good. You bought something, it wasn't in good shape, and you were allowed to return it, and you got a replacement or a refund. Those are things that go with great service that we still need to grow up to in these clients. Many of the times we have calculated the naira and kobo, I've already sold. It cannot be heard that I didn't sell again. But if your ultimate is to delight the client, and if what they got does not serve their purpose, it should be possible to return, depending on what it is that you're selling, of course. Able to come to that point where we own it and we decide that this is a journey we want to take on an intentional basis, not wishy-washy, not it happens today, it happen tomorrow. So no other singular factor of production saves cost on advertising and marketing like a great customer service. Go and check. Go and do your check. But let me say like it, I'll be go and verify. Okay. So the next one, no any other factor. No any other. No any other. Okay. What does it mean to be customer centric? No assumptions. I don't want to assume that we all know. Because customer centric culture in an organization is an approach where the company focus, sorry, is primarily on understanding and meeting the needs and expectations of customers. Understanding, meeting needs. Focus. The word focus is the key word for me here. Like we concentrate on it. Two, it involves aligning all business practices from product development to service delivery around creating exceptional customer experiences. None of these bullets are aside from the other. It's a contribution spiral into each other. So this one says that it begins with having a primary. So when they say, who are you? We are a customer service company who happens to do real estate. It should come to that point where, like examples, you can say that we are a customer service company that happens to sell shoes. That's the way Tony Hench will always talk about the e-commerce business approach. That no, we are actually a customer service company, but we sell shoes. So they can decide to sell any other thing, anything. The center is customer service. Okay, so it involves aligning. Aligning is where the work is. That's the work. Aligning all business practices. Tell me about a few business practices that we may have in our board that we like business practices, business processes. Give me an idea. Give me an idea. Site inspection, yes. Sorry, ma'am. Associate meeting. Business practices. Honestly, is as real as the jobs that each of you do. Every department that we have. What's your role, sir? Great. It's a business practice. Guess how? He is a client-facing person. He creates the narrative of the organization visually by his own role. What did you do, sir? Software developer. He is the one who is supposed to make it easy, faster, and more experiential from the online point of view for our clients, right? Whether you are hitting us on website or you are seeing an app that is helping you become more user-friendly, that's giving you user-friendly experience and the rest of them. Business practice. Business practice. What do you do? 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 Business practice. Okay, so you work together. What do you do? Oga. I can see the tech part of this business. That is made awesome. I don't want to ask them what they do. I want my money to be complete. I don't want them to ask me. So I'm not going to ask them what they do, but I'm only helping you to see that the journey that our God is undertaking on an intentional and more deliberate way. So there is two things that are going to stay on your neck for going forward. That we're going to look out for. We're going to look over your shoulders. If you still remember that we're on a journey, that all of us have decided that we want to build a customer-centric culture, and we're using experiences as our base. or our joker. Are we together? Are we together? So that is what it is. Aligning all business practices from product development to delivery. Everything that we mentioned that we do here covers that expanse. True? Not true? True. True. So sometimes you don't even see yourself as central and core to giving the client satisfaction, experience, or delight. You are. You are very integral. It's a circle. This is how I usually draw it. It's a cycle. It involves all of us. And nobody's space is less important. See, like that, like that, like that. So these are the names of your departments or your rooms, whatever they are, no matter how wide they are. But this is this guy here. If I do this, no, come back. So if I do this, if the person says, I'm not so important, I'm going to suspend or break the chain. How wholesome is the delivery still going to look? It's not going to be perfect. So you are important. You are important to speed of delivery. You are important to exciting the client. You are important to quality service. You are important to help and support resolution of issues, whatever it is, you are important. Every one of us. Every one of us. Now, I said in such a culture, employees are encouraged to prioritize. So our priority valve must be reset. Prioritize customer satisfaction. This leads to stronger relationships, increased loyalty, and sustained business success. Please don't look at these few words as mere words. If you prioritize customer satisfaction, these are the benefits. It will lead to stronger relationships, it will lead to increased loyalty and sustained business success. I'd like to ask questions here.